she told me, she said to me, "We're going to get this guy. We are going to say he was sexually inappropriate with his mother. We have done this before."
Let's go back to what you observed then on the morning of September 21st of 1999 in regarding room 307.
Okay. My office, which was at the opposite end of the hall from Rachel Bean's, again, across the hall from 307. My desk and the office door, I could see Rachel, Mary, and the back of Mr. DeStefano's head walking into the room, 307, and the door closed. I went back to what I was doing, which was working on my computer.
What happened next that you observed?
I don't know the time element, but next thing I know, Mary Thornton is standing in our doorway, which was open. She did not have to open it. And I looked up at her, and she told me, she said to me, "We're going to get this guy. We are going to say he was sexually inappropriate with his mother. We have done this before." And I just looked at her. I didn't say a word. I never said anything. I just looked at her. And to me, the we were Rachel Bean and Mary.
Objection calls for speculation.
Did you have let me ask you this. Did you have an understanding as to what, when she referred to we, as to who that involved?
Objection, speculation.
You can answer. Your understanding.
My understanding was that it was Rachel and Mary.
What was your basis for that understanding, that Mary Thornton, when she said we, was talking about she and Rachel Bean?
Because of the fact of Rachel being the director of nurses, Mary being the unit manager, and Rachel Bean brought Mary to the facility. They had worked together previously in another facility, and I did not see anyone else involved going into the room, being in Rachel's office earlier that morning. I was not aware of anybody else being in there but Rachel, Mr. DeStefano, and Mary.
Objection, moved to strike as being speculative.
Describe, if you can recall, Mrs. Standish, what Mary Thornton's demeanor was at the time she made these statements to you.
Very casual, very matter of fact.
Why didn't you say anything?
Objection, lack of foundation.
At the time, why didn't you respond?
I didn't believe I didn't believe it. I didn't believe what I heard.
And did you have an understanding as you listened to that statement as to the motivation, or as to why these statements were being made, from your understanding about Mr. DeStefano and getting Mr. DeStefano and making up something about him being sexually inappropriate with his mother?
Objection, speculation, no foundation.
You can answer.
Lawsuit is what came into my mind.
Okay, and why is that?
Because he approached the nurse, Carol Bowes, 3 times. The wound was not redressed. And to my knowledge, when Mr. DeStefano wanted the wound to be dressed, the fact that there was a note signed by a nurse, and lawsuit, and in nursing homes, lawsuits are prevalent. And that's the first thing that we're always taught in education and orientation of a nursing home. Beware of lawsuits.
Why didn't you, or let me ask it this way, did you report Mary Thornton's statement to anyone at Rollins Bedford, Sunbelt, the nursing home, after you heard that statement?
No, I did not report it
Why
to
not?
anybody.
Why not?
I did not. I didn't believe that. I never believed it was ever going to happen.
Good morning, Mrs. Standish. How are
Good
you?
morning.
You've been
Great.
testifying regarding a series of events which occurred primarily on September 20th and 21st, 1999, correct?
Yes.
And you have a clear recollection of what went on those 2 days. Is that accurate?
Pretty accurate.
You stated that Mrs. Thornton came directly across the hall to your office and without any introduction whatsoever, said, we're going to get this guy, we're going to say he was sexually inappropriate, we've done this before. Is that your testimony?
Yes, it is.
And were those Mary's exact words?
Yes, it was.
Okay. And you remember her exact words 6 years later?
Oh, yes.
And then without any other discussion, Mary Thornton just walked out of your office. Is that your testimony?
Yes.
Okay. And Mary Thornton didn't mention Rachel Bean in that conversation, did she?
Not by name.
Okay, and you weren't good friends with with Mary Thornton, were you?
Are you talking about outside the office?
Yes.
I did not socialize with anyone I worked with.
Okay, so she wasn't you weren't someone that she would normally confide in. Is that accurate?
No, that is not accurate.
Mary did not say that she was going to lie, did she?
She did not use those words.
And Mary didn't say that Mr. DeStefano had not been inappropriate, did she?
That's not the word she used either.
Okay. Now, but you assumed from Mary Thornton's statements that she and Rachel Bean were going to concoct a story about Mr. DeStefano being sexually inappropriate, correct?
Yes.
And the reason that you got that idea was because of the conversation that you said that you had the following night before with Carol Bowes, correct?
No.
Okay. You had stated earlier that your assumption about the conversation that you heard with Mary Thornton was that they were fearful of a lawsuit, correct?
No, I didn't say they were. I said I felt that morning of the 21st when I was informed that he went to the office. Mr. DeStefano was in the office with Rachel and Mary, had a piece of paper in his hand, which I took to mean that possibly that paper that Carol Bowes signed. My thought was, they're down, and I was told there was loud voices. My thoughts were, he's talking about a lawsuit.
Okay.
And
that assumption...
Let's let her finish the answer.
And when Mary Thornton came to my office, made the statement that they were going to get him, they were going to say he was sexually inappropriate, my thought was, there's a lawsuit is being threatened. That was not spoken verbally by anyone.
Okay, and my question is, that assumption that a lawsuit was threatened was based on your conversation with Carol Bowes on September 20th, 1999, correct?
No, it was the assumption came from their being in that office, going into Mrs. DeStefano's room, and what was stated. I didn't know anything about the night before on the 20th about any context of sexual inappropriateness between Mr. DeStefano and his mother. So the
Mrs.
20th
Standard,
was not.
I want you to listen to my question. My question is that any reference to a lawsuit, any assumptions that you made about a lawsuit were based on the fact that you were aware that Carol Bowes had signed a note, and you became aware of that on September 20th, 1999, when you had this discussion with Carol.
I became aware of the note being signed. I did not think lawsuit on the 20th.
Okay.